Hey, Steve here again, and I want to quickly just talk about a statement that one of my colleagues made. They're from the Middle East, and they were with a friend of mine from here in Spartanburg last year, and they were going down to an archaeological site in the Middle East. And along the way, they were discussing ministry. So I'd already left. I had basically not dropped him off, but we had done the ministry we were there to do. I needed to get back to the States, and so he stayed a few extra days and went traveling with them to see some of these sites. And so as they were on the train going down to this archaeological site, they were talking about ministry, disciple making, evangelism, church planting, all the things that we're intricately involved in. And in the conversation, my colleagues, again, who are Middle Eastern, looked at him and said, "Why do you need a strategy for evangelism? Why do you need a strategy for disciple making?" Now, I am not opposed to those strategies, but I'm bringing this up to help to cause us to pause and think about what they're saying and think about how it applies to us. Okay, now they're in a very communal culture, more so than I am from the West, who's a very independent culture. But they said that because they mentioned that for them, strategies and plans were more about how do you serve people, like in a crisis situation? How do you get aid to them when they need it? How do you get food packages to those who have lost everything? To them, that was a plan and strategy worth building. But the evangelism part and the discipleship part, now the discipleship part, you could say, yeah, you probably need some kind of plan of action to know how you're going to approach it. But in terms of evangelism, there wasn't a strategy for it. It was just built into who they are. It's built into their identity. When they talk about life, because, when we're talking about sharing the gospel, one of the biggest contentions people have is we need to be able to gain people's trust. We need to do life on life with them before we have a right to talk about salvation and things like that. And there's some truth to that. But the flip side of that is when we're sharing life, we're sharing every part of our lives. When we're in communication, we're always talking about the most important things about our life. And if the most important thing about our life is Christ, then that conversation about Christ should probably come pretty quickly. It's not forced or anything, it's just natural. It's just like talking about food we love, or places we love to go, or places we love to vacation. We naturally want to talk about them, or our favorite sports team. We naturally talk about those things. We bring them up without second guessing what our motive was in bringing them up, because we love those things and we care about those things and we want to talk about those things with other people. We want to advocate for the things we believe in. So if that's true in those areas of our life, then it should be true when it comes to the gospel, that it should just be a natural part of our conversation, that we naturally bring into conversations as we connect with people, as we relate with people, as we serve people. Okay? It's not a bait and switch. We're not giving them a cup of rice in exchange for "you must listen to me now." No, it's just we're talking about life. And I'm talking about my life as they're talking about their life. Now, we must give them the chance to talk about their life. It's not a one-way street. But when we're communicating with them, we've got to talk about our life, which includes Christ, and let them talk about their life, even if it doesn't include Christ. So the reason I bring this up is not to guilt anyone into feeling bad about having strategies or plans or anything like that, but merely to cause us to pause and think about it for a moment. Just think about it from their perspective. Are strategies bad? No. Are plans bad? Absolutely not. But is our conversation about the gospel natural? Does it naturally flow out of us? Because strategies and plans, while they're not inherently bad or wrong, they can cause it to be more mechanical at times. And we need to be guarding against that and be more sensitive to the people we're talking about and let it flow naturally. Because when it flows naturally, people see the authenticity of it and they see how much you love it. I remember just a quick story to end this. A good friend of mine used to serve in India, and when he was there for a couple of years, he had met this Hindu priest, And for a year, he built this relationship because he wanted to create that trust with them. And I have nothing against that. But at the end of the year, he finally shared the gospel with them. And the Hindu priest was cordial, he was kind, he was attentive, he listened to everything my friend said. And at the end of their conversation, the Hindu priest looked at my friend and asked him a question. And he said, if this was so important to you, if you truly believed in this, why did you wait a year to share it with me? Think about those things, whether it be what my friend experienced in India or what my Middle Eastern colleagues were asking my friend here in Spartanburg. I'll see you next time.